This episode of OUT TV has been brought to you by the following sponsors: Marshall Walmart Supercenter, Arth's Body Shop, The Wood Shop, and a big thanks to Time Warner Cable, and viewers like you.
Hello and welcome to this late-breaking edition of OUT TV. Once again, I'm Matt Mabry.
And I'm Caitlin Chevalier. Thank you for joining us. Our first story this week comes from our good friend Joel.
He's went to investigate Guitar Hero 3, a hot new item in the gaming world today.
Let's shred it up.
Hey, this is Joel, and I've got the scoop on Guitar Hero 3.
I'm a little hesitant about Guitar Hero 3, actually. I really like the first two, and even the 80s edition one was pretty cool. But 3, as far as I know, was actually made by a slightly different company than the first couple. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the same type of gameplay and if I'll enjoy it as much. I also know that they're changing a lot of the battle modes, the stuff where you get to screw everybody else up and the stuff like that. I'm not sure that I'm digging that too much. Favorite song on Guitar Hero 2 is definitely Killing in the Name. I just love playing it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm a huge Rage Against the Machine fan, so that's one of my favorites. Well, I'm a poor teacher, so if it comes out on PlayStation 2, that's the one I got. So that's probably what I'm going to have to buy it for. I'd love to get a PS3 one of these days and have it for that, because I saw some graphic things for that, and it looks a lot cooler. Not that I've ever actually watched the backgrounds in Guitar Hero anyway, but anyway. I usually play on hard or expert, one or the other. Depends on if I'm playing just for fun or if I'm playing to try to show everybody how cool I am.
The Guitar Hero 2, it's a game that we play at home as a family game, I guess, compared to a lot of other games that are available out there. It's a non-violent and kind of fun game. My wife and I play it. We have grudge matches and play head-to-head with it. Really, one of the things I'm most interested in about it is that one of the characters you can be is Slash. So, he's a great guitar player. So I'll probably pick that as my character so I can at least have that advantage of over my wife when we play. Not that it makes any difference. She still beats me most of the time anyway.
Well, that looks like some fun, and remember, it'll be out the last week of October.
Thanks, Joel, for that in-depth look.
Connor and Jake bring to us our next story on some student teachers that are joining us this year from Missouri Valley College.
The boys took a journey around the school to find these individuals and see how they are doing this year.
Here's more.
My name is Natalie Reich, and I am a student teacher with Mr. Guthrie. I enjoy teaching here at the high school. The kids are really nice, and I plan on teaching after I graduate from college in May. And my goal is to go ahead and get my master's done as soon as I finish graduating. And my parents and my mom is a teacher, so that really inspired me to become a teacher. And I have 3 or 4 aunts that are teachers also, so they really made it possible for me to really love teaching.
Hi, I'm Josh Smith, a student at Missouri Valley College. I'm student teaching with Mr. Brennan this year at the Marshall High School. And we're doing world history and government. And so far it's been great. I really like the kids I'm teaching. Mr. Brennan's been a great help, and everybody here at Marshall High School has been really nice. And after student teaching, I plan on getting married, so I'm probably going to try to find a job somewhere down there, probably substitute in the springtime until I find a job. And after that, who knows? Hopefully I'll have a job by then. And I want to be a teacher because I've ran cross country and played sports ever since I was in junior high, high school, college. So I like to coach, and I like reading about history. I like learning about it. So teaching about it seemed like the next step in teaching other people. So I hope they enjoy history as much as I do.
Hi, my name is Megan Davis. I'm a clinical student from Missouri Valley College. As a clinical student, we're expected to come and observe 100 hours at the high school, or whichever school we're going to plan on teaching at. And we observe the teacher and their teaching methods. We try and get a good idea of what we want to implement in our own classrooms as far as ways to handle students and lesson plans, just all sorts of things. It's really just a good thing for upcoming pre-service teachers, because we really get a good idea of what the teaching profession's really like.
It looks like they're doing a fantastic job.
It certainly does. I may even consider going there next year.
Well, Take your time to decide, as college is very important.
Of course I will. Well, our next piece comes to us from DP, Jeremy, and Scott.
This week, the boys took a look at the SAT 10 testing that recently took place here at MHS.
Here it is.
The SAT-10 is a standardized test that we give to all students, students grades 9 through 11 in the fall of each year, and it's an assessment so that we can see what level the students are performing in their core areas. Actually, it is the standards are nationwide. It's a national standardized assessment. However, it's not a mandated test in the state of Missouri. It's one that we just choose to use so that we can get current information on performance levels of the students. Well, the reason we give the SAT-10 is, again, to make sure that we know where students are performing. And so what we'll do is look at those students' scores on an individual basis. If we have a student that's performing low in a certain area, then we will know specifically what to work on in class. We also might look at the scores as a group and say, you know, we seem to see a trend of students performing real well in, say, algebra, but maybe there's a difficulty in something that's more in the geometry subject area. And then we might go back to a topic and say, you know, we need to really work on that because we see where we have a group of students who aren't doing so well in a specific area. I think it's a good screening. It's a good test that will give us ideas of how students are functioning. And the nice thing is when we take the MAP test in the spring, we don't get those scores back until later on in the fall. And those scores then indicate how that student was performing in the spring of the past year. The SAT-10 test, we can give it, and we can get the test scores back in several weeks so that we can get current information on students. Well, I really think that it will help the students in that we know exactly how they're performing, we know what they're doing well in, we know where they need assistance, and so as we start the school year, we can adjust and work with those students either in small groups individually or with classes as a whole to bring the skills up so that we're ready then for our spring testing.
Boy, I'm sure glad I didn't have to test that day. I am horrible at testing.
Me too. But speaking of academics, Max Kindred took a look at Eastwood on the Hill this week. The event brought to Marshall by the third graders here in town.
You know, those little tykes never cease to amaze me.
Indeed. Let's see how they did.
Eastwood on the Hill is an awesome opportunity for the students who attend Eastwood Elementary to be able to perform for an audience, and the students stand on the east side of the hill. The parents sit on the west side of the hill, and we have built-in risers for the students to be able to perform and be seen by all of the parents and the audience members. This is my third year here at Eastwood, and we haven't ever done Eastwood on the Hill since I have been here. Mary Marshall is the brainchild that continued something that started many, many years ago. And her health was not as good several years ago, so they stopped performing Eastwood on the Hill, and we thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to resurrect this wonderful opportunity for these kids to perform in front of their parents. They have been practicing in music class for several weeks. They're working on the Marshall Fight song. They have some other songs that they're going to perform this evening. Then yesterday we had an hour preparation out on the hill to practice getting in line and what the sound was going to be like outside. And now that the weather has turned rainy on us, we'll be performing inside, but the kids will still have a good time and the parents will enjoy seeing their students perform.
It warms my heart to see those little up-and-comers doing so well.
I knew it would. Our next story comes from Nate.
Caitlin, did you know I love corn?
You know, I didn't.
Well, now you do, and apparently so does Nate. This fellow corn lover went to check up on the activities involved in the corn husking event that recently took place in our area.
Let's take a glance.
Hello, my name is Emma Johnson. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the Cornhusking competition and how it got created. The first major Cornhusking competition was around 1940s, early 1940s, late 1930s. It started out as young men moving from farm to farm, cornhusking other farmers' corn, and the bragging rights of who could cornhusk the most corn in a set amount of time. With this, they used many tools. This is one of the tools. This is called a thumb hook. It is styled just like it was in the 1940s, and we still use it today. The competition today is only held once a year, and with that goes the opportunity of going to nationals. Nationals are held within the 9 states that compete, and with that it's going to be in 3 weeks, October 21st and 22nd in South Dakota this year. The competition today was in Marshall, Missouri, and had very many competitors going from 8 o'clock this morning till 3:30 this afternoon. With our top honors going to Rochelle Myers and Mitchell Burns, and they picked 200 to 500 pounds of corn. The cornhusking competition today was more about friendships and remembering how the farmers had to get out the corn by hand. Not about bragging rights, not about money, not about trophies, but more of family get-togethers, family unions, and to see the young come out and enjoy what the older generation had to deal with.
That corn looked delicious.
Agreed. Our final story comes from us from GW, and it is on the Slater Rock Fest.
Sounds interesting. Here it is.
I'm sitting here with the organizer / creator of the Rock and Roll Fest, Todd Fowler. Todd, how exactly did you come up with this crazy idea for a Rock and Roll Fest?
Well, the idea came about 3 years ago. Our city of Slater decided to put on a blues festival, and I thought, we need something for the younger kids around here, because not a lot of the younger kids around here really enjoy the blues. I mean, they might like it, but a lot of them like the newer stuff nowadays.
What exactly are you trying to accomplish with this Rock and Roll Fest?
I'm just trying to bring something to Slater for the youth, for the young kids of our generation, so they can go out and have fun and listen to some good local music.
So this Rock and Fizzo deal here, Todd, Rock and Roll Fest, what exactly goes on?
Well, we got a lot of good music, good talented local musicians, and we give away a lot of great prizes. We have prizes donated from all the bands, and you buy a ticket, there's your chance to win a prize. And then to top it all off, at the end of the night, we give away a free guitar. I mean, how can you beat that? How can you beat that?
So, what kind of bands play this thing?
Well, we have bands from all over. We normally try to get local bands. Like this year, we got Stone Revolve, Light the Shadow, Crawl Space. They're all local bands, and we also got some out of town bands from as far away as Columbia, like Ghost in the Machine, the New Seance. From St. Joe, we got Theory of Atlantis. Higginsville, we got Empire. Just to name a few. We also have, of course, we have Serotonin from Marshall. Just to name a few.
Quite a few bands there, Todd. Hate to see this thing die down. Any chance of next year, possibly, Rock and Roll Fest?
Oh, this will probably be the last year. I really hate to end it like that. We've had a nice long 3-year run, and third time's a charm. Might as well leave it at that.
Thanks, GW, for that wonderful report. Too bad you didn't have time for sports this week, Julian.
Yeah, it is, but we all know homecoming's next week, and I'm going to have a lot to cover on that. Well, that's going to do it for this week on Now TV. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us at 886-2244, extension 265.
Until next week.
See you cats later.